Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Between the Horns playoff style. Glad we're able to extend this live stream and this podcast beyond the regular season. It is wild card weekend, and the Rams are heading to Seattle, as you know, for a rematch with the Seahawks. I'm JB Long, alongside team reporter Serena Morales. You ready?
Oh, let's go. Let's go up north. Let's do the damn thing.
And Maurice Jones-Drew and DeMarco Farr are here as well. How are you guys feeling?
Awesome, sir. You know what? I feel wonderful, actually. It's a little chilly morning here in LA, so it should be okay up there in Seattle for the Rams.
That's right.
Like 70 degrees.
Nice. I got one bone to pick. Jake McQuaid went after me for my glasses. Is there something wrong with my glasses? I think he said something. He called me over to the sideline and said, I look like Uncle Phil or something. Is there something wrong with my glasses?
You actually do look like Uncle Phil.
Hey, this is our team. You defend me. Go ahead.
One, Jake, thank you for watching. Two, great call. The Rams punched their playoff ticket to the postseason, as you know, with the win over the Cardinals at SoFi in Week 17. It is their third playoff appearance in 4 seasons under Sean McVay, and they'll be going up against a familiar division foe at Lumen Field in the Pacific Northwest. And Serena, of course, the question that's on everyone's mind, including ours, what kind of coffee are you drinking this morning? No, just kidding. Who's the quarterback going to be?
Black coffee always. But who's under center, right? And that will be answered at 1:39 according to Sean McVay right before kickoff. So we've seen a lot of obvious little wolf emojis popping up on social media for good reason. My man John Wolford got the job done against the Cardinals. For 231 yards and rushing for another 56. He used his legs. He thought through his decisions. He did okay. MJD, what did you think of our boy in his first career start?
I thought John Wolford did exactly what he was supposed to do. I really didn't expect him to throw a touchdown pass and light up for 5 TDs and 400 yards, but I expected him to use his legs in crucial situations to get first downs. I expected him to be able to help the running game out. What I didn't expect and what we saw were a lot of shots down the field. I mean, he was throwing the ball down the field a ton, which was very relieving, stress relieving for, I guess, myself and JB, because we've been asking for this for a couple weeks. But the beautiful thing about it was he did exactly what he needed to do to help that defense to win that game. And he played complimentary football. The one turnover was obviously it was a little jitters. You expect that mistake to be made, not as early, but eventually that mistake was going to be made. But the way he bounced back and used his legs to help the team get down the field was huge.
The way he recovered from that interception early on, I think, was the most impressive part. DeMarco, with Jared still recovering, how difficult is this decision for a guy like Sean McVay?
It shouldn't be tough, man. I mean, if Jared's healthy, that's your guy. I mean, that's the guy that took you to a Super Bowl, and granted, he was on a 2-game losing streak, so to speak, before Wolford had to step in. But this is your starter. This, for better or for worse, this is the guy you have to go to battle with. Now, I would say that hook gets a little bit shorter now that you saw what Wolford can do and what he does to a defense. So if Jared starts to struggle or you start to see a little more of those flutter balls coming out of his hand because there's an issue there, then you can always go to your backup. I think that's the benefit of starting your backup and getting the victory. But yeah, I think the answer is simple. If Jared Goff is ready to go, then he's the guy. He's beaten Seattle before. He's beaten Seattle up there. He's gotten you into the postseason, and he's won there. So I loved what Wolford did. It was fun watching him scramble to pick up first downs. But can you say you saw enough to trust him in a playoff situation? I know I can trust Jared Goff. I've seen it before. So I think it's an easy choice for Sean McVay. But I would say this. I think Sean McVay has to go take his offensive philosophy from Ferrari more to armored car. It's not about scoring in a hurry. It's about protecting the football, moving it methodically down the field, and playing to your defense. So whichever quarterback is in the game, expect that same sort of game plan to beat Seattle.
2 different quarterbacks, obviously, Jared Goff and then Wolford, kind of showing that he's got some legs and making, extending plays for the both of you. Does that factor into playing against Seattle where you might lean towards Wolford or you might lean towards Jared?
Oh, most def. There's a few plays, and I wrote these down, and I'm not going to go all through them, but versus Seattle, it was like a sequence of plays. where the defense had given Jared Goff the edge. It was a passing situation off bootleg or off shotgun, and they dropped an 8th guy into coverage, and they gave him the edge, and he took it. Now, the problem was there was a first down to be made. If it was Wolford, you make it. He's got the speed. He's got the jump. He can get it there. Jared Goff squared to throw and then decided to run a little bit late and picked up only 3 yards, setting up a 3rd and 4, which is tough. And then I went back and looked. The Seahawks got the Rams into 19 third down situations in that game. That's not where you want to be versus any defense, definitely versus Pete Carroll. So when you have those opportunities to scramble, pick those first downs up and tax the defense. Don't let them win. Don't let a drop guy take away a hook and then the quarterback scramble at the same time. You can't win that way.
Guys, JB, before you jump in too, like, we haven't even mentioned that Blake Bortles is on the roster now. So there is another quarterback available if we need him, right?
Not in my mind. Not in my mind. This is a 2 quarterback show, and 2's a crowd. It's Goff and it's Wolford as far as you can go, as far as I'm concerned, unless it's an emergency situation. Should we flip sides to the defensive side of the football, gentlemen, and to the cliche that defense wins championships? There's actually some pretty strong evidence in NFL postseason history lately. How about this for a nugget? The Rams are the 8th team in the last 25 seasons to lead the league in scoring defense, total defense, and passing defense in the same season. 5 of those previous 7 went to the Super Bowl that year, and the 2011 Steelers are the only team in that group to lose either their first or their second playoff game. So the Rams are in some pretty elite company. Can they make an elite run through the postseason behind this Brandon Staley group? DeMarco, what do you think?
Yeah, I think they can. I think they're a great defense, and they need more opportunities to prove their greatness. This would be one. So, I mean, defending Seattle and Russell Wilson is one thing, and also dragging your offense at the same time is another. So if you can keep this up through the postseason, you'll be mentioned in with one of those greats. So Arizona, you guys heard, we talked about this during the broadcast. We said that Arizona's out of plays. When they start repeating plays 2 and 3 times, you're out of stuff. And the Rams, each time they faced it, they got better and better versus those defenses. And eventually it was just a turkey shoot. So I think what they had, 241, Arizona did, 214 yards total, 170 came on 10 plays. So that means the other 39 plays went for 44 yards. To me, that means you're a dominating defense. Even boredom can't stop you. So when you're inspired and encouraged and you're faced with a challenge like Seattle, you're going to rise to that challenge. So I think they have a chance. This is an opportunity for them to be a great defense. They've been great through the regular season. They've been awesome. But this is their opportunity to take it to the next level.
MJD, what do you think in their heart of hearts the Seattle Seahawks thought when they saw that the Rams had won and they were going to be their wild card opponent?
I felt like they're a very competitive bunch. I feel like they were like, hey, you know what? We're up for this challenge. Now, the only thing for me is there's so many guys that are banged up. Jamal Adams, hurt shoulder. You have some defensive linemen that are beat up. So that's going to be a concern. And DeMarco, I want to make sure we remember that playoff run that Jared Goff had. Let's remember that defense turned it around that year and started creating turnovers and confused Drew Brees, shut down Dak Prescott. I mean, they did some really good things. And then let's also remember they held the Patriots to 6 points until the last drive of the fourth quarter. So defense definitely can get them there. The most important thing, I think, especially if you're going to have a strong defense, is you cannot turn the ball over. I think the Rams, and I told JB this, I think I told DeMarco this, and I'm here to tell our fans, the Rams match up well with everyone in the NFC in these playoff runs. I believe that defensively, they can stop every offense from the Green Bay Packers to the Saints, all those, everyone. The Bucs, we've already seen that. The question is, offensively, if you can protect the football and just play field position and kick field goals and just try to, put more pressure on the other side, your defense will win you those things. They're scoring at a rate that we haven't seen, at least I haven't seen this defense play at. And they're scoring touchdowns. They're getting sacks, turnovers. They're doing everything. And so sometimes you kind of have to just put your pride to the side if you're an offensive guy and say, look, the best thing for me, and if I'm Jared Goff or John Wolford, is to not turn this ball over and put my defense in a position where they can be successful. And maybe you go on a run and you win all of them. And so I think this is a special time for the Rams in general. I think that going up to Seattle is going to be the springboard. If you can win this game, the wild card is going to springboard you with a lot of confidence going forward.
One more point I have to make. I would feel like Barry Sanders' teammates in Detroit if the offense messes it up for this defense. You've got two once-in-a-lifetime guys playing at the same time in Ramsey and Aaron Donald. You won't see this again. You won't see another Barry Sanders in Detroit. You won't get another shot at this right here. So there's a way you have to play it, and there's a way to win it, and I think the defense can do it on that side of the ball.
Well, what's interesting is this is a split matchup, right? They're going to play for the third time this season. Rams won in week 10. Seahawks won in week 16. So, I mean, does it change it up? Is there does it help at all, DeMarco, that, your opponent, you're very familiar with your opponent and how they're going to, match up in this game?
Well, this is going to make Maurice laugh. I know. If we fought 3 times, you may beat me once. That third time,
okay.
Yeah, it's on. So
okay.
I'm sure this football team, Sean McVay, I'm sure the defense, definitely Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald, and they're going to bring everybody with them. They feel that way too. If we match up with you 3 times, we're going to win too. So the problem is, so does Seattle. They feel
what about the other team?
This will be great. This will be a battle, and it's awesome. I think it's great for football that these two are matching up in the postseason.
Well, real quick, let me say this. DeMarco's a boxing fan. Was it Pacquiao, Marvez? What was it?
Yeah, Marquez. Right.
When they fought the third time, it was like a street fight. There was no jabbing. They just went in there throwing haymakers, and that's what this is going to be.
Right.
Throw all the game plan out the window. We know what you want to do. You know what we want to do. This is the third time we're going to play. It's really going to be who's going to be the most physical and who's going to dominate the line of scrimmage. And that's what it's going to come down to in this game. And I believe it's going to be a street fight. There's going to be some big hits, a lot of trash talking, but the Rams are built for that. And I'm excited to see how they respond to this challenge.
Well,
that's interesting. Let me follow up real quick. Do you think round 3 is, and especially the playoffs, are more about the coaches or less about the coaches?
Oh, no, more about the coaches, but not on game day. Now, right now, getting your guys prepped and ready to go. I mean, once they take the field and Pete Carroll and Sean McVay are hugging each other, the hay's in the barn. It's up to the guys in the pads. But this is where head coaches earn their money right now on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Hey, I'll say this too. We played Pittsburgh in 2007 twice. Once, both up there, but in the wild card game, Jack Del Rio said it's already been written. Like, I can't do anything else. It's up to you guys to go out there and pretty much do what you have to do. And that's what it comes down to when you play a team multiple times, or you play a team, 3 times or once obviously in the regular season and in the playoffs. It comes down to they know who you are. They know what you want to do. You know who they are. You know what they want to do. Who wants it more at the end of the day?
To all of those points, I mean, you guys realize that the defense is obviously going to, I mean, especially with Aaron Donald, he loves him some Russell Wilson, but can they actually, to get this second win out of 3, is that where we're leaning on? Is it Aaron Donald? Is he going to show up and put some pressure on the head quarterback?
Absolutely. Yes, Aaron's going to show up, and Jalen's going to show up, and the entire defense is going to show up. But so is Seattle's offense. They're going to try to run through you. Pete Carroll's not afraid of you. Russell Wilson is not afraid of you. Now, he respects you, but they're going to run their stuff. They're going to try to get the ball to DK Metcalf regardless of who's on him. So you're going to have to step up, like Maurice said, on game day and prove it. But these guys are going to show up and absolutely make it. But I agree with everyone else. I think the telltale sign of this game is going to be what the Rams do on offense and if they can keep from turning the ball over. Pete Carroll is a master of winning close games. Maurice, you said something when we first met doing this job together. I'm comfortable being uncomfortable. That is Pete Carroll in a nutshell. He is comfortable in the most uncomfortable moments in football. So this game will be a 3-point game for 3.5 quarters. It will be back and forth. It will be that close. So the first one to blink, the first one to make a mistake will probably lose this football game if the defense doesn't bail them out.
Yeah, I'll say this. Your brand names have to show up, right? Your Jalen Ramseys, your Aaron Donalds, Robert Woods, Cooper Kupps. Those guys got to show up. But then if you want to win this game, Gerald Everett can't drop a pass, right? You can't have interior pressure on your quarterback. Darius Williams, they're gonna start DK Metcalf on one side. They're gonna motion him over to your side. They're gonna go down the field. You have to be able to lock that up. You can't allow Russell Wilson out of the pocket, whoever that outside guy, that edge rusher is. You can't let him get out of the pocket. You got to make him step up into the pocket, into the interior rush. Those are the things that are going to have you win the game. You know, I can literally tell you word for word what Seattle's offense is going to do. It's up to you to go out there and stop it. Like it just is what it is. And the funny thing is, Jalen Ramsey is going to shadow DK Metcalf. They're going to find a way to get him off it, right? We know that. But the question is, can Fuller, can Williams, can Troy Hill, when you're matched up on them, can you be like Jalen in those situations and bat the ball down or tackle him right then and there? Can you make those plays? Then offensively, Gerald Everett, Tyler Higbee, you have to have huge games. You have to have huge games. And it may be a huge game, maybe just be a one-catch game, but it's a catch on 3rd and 7 where you got 8 yards. And that's what helped move the chains. Those are the performances that you're going to need in this type of game.
Before we transition to our next topic, on that point about tight ends having a huge game, that means without the football in your hand too, because it was a soft spot, especially in the red zone against Seattle. That's a big reason why you weren't able to cash in that Week 16 opportunity. All right, Week 16, the Rams were without some key pieces. Reinforcements are on their way. Cooper Kupp should be back. Michael Brocker should be back. And Andrew Whitworth, who was injured at the end of the first half of the first game against the Seahawks, is scheduled to return to his left tackle spot at 39 years of age. Of those three, who has the biggest impact on Wild Card Weekend, DeMarco?
Whit, without a doubt, Andrew Whitworth. And nothing against Joseph Noteboom, but Jared Goff has taken a lot of heat the last couple of weeks. And I think who's gotten the passes has been that offensive line and the tight ends in particular. They were way too leaky versus the Jets. Seattle, they got pushed around. They still haven't solved their Poona Ford problem. He just disrupted everything the last time you saw them. So Whitworth coming back, being in the huddle, I think is going to be huge for the other 4 guys on the offensive line and the other 10 in the huddle. Tell me that's not inspiring. I don't care if you've got boo-boos, you're hurt, what have you. Whit comes back in record time from a knee injury to start a playoff game. You better suck it up and play hard. So, yeah, I think Andrew Whitworth getting back in pads will be big for the entire football team.
I would say the same thing, DeMarco. I think Whit coming back, he's just that calming effect for that offense. Seeing him be the first guy to sprint out there, get everyone set, Jared Goff looking to his left and seeing him there is more like, I guess we try to do it like my daughter has a blankie that she wants to sleep with, right? Makes her feel comfortable, makes her sleep better. And I think that's what the most important, that's what we've seen down those stretches. Jared just hasn't been comfortable in the pocket. And it might not have been because of pressure. This could have been that his best friend, the guy that he counts on, isn't there. And so hopefully Whitworth's, just, I guess, his energy and what he brings to this offense is just enough to help calm everyone down and go out there and make plays.
It's part of the reason why he's been on the sidelines in home games, because he's like, his presence is going to mean more than being at home and recovering, right?
Yeah, and peace to Brock. Same thing. Brock is a leader. I told you, one of the greatest Rams ever. And who wouldn't want Cooper Kupp in this offense? Go back to the Super Bowl. Tell me you didn't want Cooper Kupp in that game, and tell me that game wouldn't be different. So everyone you mentioned is big coming back, but just that big lift, seeing Big Whit take the field, yeah, that's emotional. That makes you better physically as well.
One argument for Cooper Kupp's case in this conversation, and that is his ability to create after the catch. More than any skill position player for the Rams, I think he led all NFL receivers in forced missed tackles this year, despite missing that 17th game. And my recollection of the last meeting with the Seahawks is they did not miss on defense. They tackled everything that moved. And if you can make one man miss and move the chains on third down and who, Maurice?
Kupp.
Whether that's with John Wolford doing it or Jared Goff doing it, I think it bolsters the Rams' chances significantly to get in the end zone for the first time in 3 games.
JB and Maurice and Serena, now, this is funny, now I might try Cooper Kupp at punt return. Now you're in the postseason, not an entire season of punt returns, taking extra shots. Now I might use them on a punt return. Make a big one.
All right. Well, unfortunately, MJD, we're not doing fantasy picks. Otherwise, we would obviously already know who you were picking. So instead, because fantasy football's over, we're going to hit a couple rapid fire questions. Cam Akers, our boy, missed just 1 game with a high ankle sprain. This is insane. I mean, this kid's got grit, right, Maurice?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I thought, I think pain comes for everyone's different, but I thought that Cam Akers proved to his teammates that he'll do whatever it takes to help them get to reach their goal as a team. to come back off that high ankle sprain one game, and then not only come back but play the way he played, ran the ball the way he ran, the way he was running by safeties and guys down the sideline catching the ball. And he's not at 100%, yet he came out there because his team needed him in that situation. That's huge. That's huge for a rookie. That's huge. I think it uplifts everyone. Like, okay, we got a dog here that we can lean on consistently. And so I believe that that's going to play a huge part. Again, let's remember, like the Rams, they didn't have him against Seattle the last time. Cooper Kupp, he'll be healthy. All of a sudden, it just feels different this morning than it did a couple weeks ago heading into Seattle. So I'm excited to see how he plays and excited to see how they utilize him again, because if you put him out wide on Bobby Wagner or KJ Wright, all of a sudden, that's not a good matchup anymore.
Yeah. And this is a kid who wasn't even starting in the beginning of the season. It was more of the Hendo show than anything else. And now he's the Rams' leading rusher this season with 625 rushing yards. All right. Actually, JB, you are big on Matt Gay. He's settling in nicely. What's the special teams confidence factor now that Matt Gay has kind of shown that consistency heading into the playoffs?
Well, he solved a lot of issues in the kicking game, no question. And I also think week 17 finally was the most complete special teams performance, maybe without any glaring miscue. And look, we can talk in circles about all the things we've, addressed in the last 20 minutes. If you play the way you have on special teams and if you turn it over the way you have throughout the 2020 season, the Seahawks are going to get you and your season's going to be over. So this is one more opportunity to put that complete performance together. And it certainly includes the third phase. The Rams don't get to the Super Bowl without Greg the Leg. Whether or not Matt Gay gets that opportunity here in this 2021 postseason, I think he's ready for it. So it seems like a confident kid, and he definitely belongs with the Rams.
I know DeMarco's always picking for fantasy Johnny Hecker. So
Hey, come on, man. Belichick did. What's
Johnny is the king.
So we're picking like fantasy MVP or that type of stuff.
No, you don't have to pick anything, but I think your point's
Okay.
valid too, Serena, about the punting game too. Field position, right? Dixon and Hecker, that's a huge showdown in this one.
A monster. I thought it was a treat for all special teams fans. You had Hecker versus Andy Lee, who used to be the Johnny Hecker, and now you've got the new Johnny Hecker that you're about to play in Seattle. So this has been a treat punt-wise, but I agree with you, man. I mean, the one thing that you can't overcome in this game is miscues on special teams. Either they return a big one, set up Russell Wilson on short field, which he's going to score, or you miss field goals or get a punt blocked. You can't have those miscues. But if you play perfect, play sound, make them go the long road, you've got a better chance to beat Seattle in Seattle.
I'll wrap it up there. Wild card episode of Between the Horns. Hope we get to do it again next week. This Saturday, it's Rams and Seahawks. Catch the game 1:40 Pacific time on Fox. You can also listen to us on the radio call, 710 ESPN and Jack FM in the greater Los Angeles area. And, of course, we cannot wait for you to step into the Rams house next season. There's still time to be among the first to experience SoFi Stadium. To join us and to purchase season tickets, visit therams.com/2021, therams.com/2021. For MJD, for DeMarco Farr, for Serena Morales, I'm JB Long. Enjoy this expanded wild card weekend, and let's keep it going into next week.